In this video, we're going to take a look at a magenta pinkish ink from PensBBS, their number 137. Down in the description are timestamps so you can skip around, but if you've got the time, I'd appreciate you checking out the entire video. Also, down in the description is a link to a playlist of all of the magenta and pink inks if you'd like to take a look at that. I'm an ink guy. Let's get into the first writing sample, 90 GSM Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade. The extra fine is lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen. It does shade rather nicely. Quick goes dark to light to dark. Brown goes dark to light to dark to light to dark. Over goes light to dark, 9 seconds to dry. Medium is a little bit lighter than the extra fine with no feather spread, halo sheen, a decent shading as quick goes dark to light to dark. Brown goes dark to light to dark, 13 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show good color variation. We get it in the writing, and the smear test, you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. To have a range of experience with this ink, all of the writing samples are done with a Jinhao 159 with a 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a medium, and a Jinhao X750 with an extra fine. Then a Conklin word gauge with a fine nib was inked up, used for a day, and used to take the notes for this video. The next writing sample is done on 52 GSM Tomoe River. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 15 seconds to dry. The medium is the same tone as the extra fine. With no feather spread, halo sheen, it does show shading as quick goes dark to light to dark. Brown goes dark to light, fox goes light to dark, and 20 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both don't really show much color variation, although it does show itself through in the medium. And a smear test, I don't think you could recover this if you smeared while you were writing. I agree with Vita. There's a lot to learn by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. A line of ink is put down and then is put in the water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we see that there's no mixing of colors here. And it absolutely flees away from the water, gathering at the top. The one on the right is allowed to dry for 10 minutes and looks exactly the same. So we can expect no resistance at all from this ink. The next writing sample is done on 80 GSM Rhodia dot pad. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine is a little bit lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, some shading. Brown starts darker, gets lighter. Fox starts lighter, gets darker. 11 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine with no feather spread, halo sheen. It does shade rather nicely. Quick goes dark to light to dark. Fox goes light to dark. Over goes light to dark. 15 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show good color variation because we get it. And a smear test, you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it may be to clean from your pen. The smear is allowed to dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, I would not use it. That's a blowout like I wouldn't want to deal with in my notes if I had to highlight. That's not unexpected based on a chromatography or based on what we see water doing, which is completely removing it from the paper. The pen flush is doing everything a water did, a little faster. We're starting to see more of the white of the paper with the pen flush, and 1/3 bleach solution completely obliterates it. However, it only took water to get this out of my pen. The next writing sample is done on yellow Rhodia paper. This is a writing sample done not for performance, but for tone. And the very interesting thing is this mostly magenta, slightly pink-leaning ink on yellow paper shows how translucent this ink is as it becomes pink. This might be a problem for you if you work in a professional environment and they're worried about that. But then again, if they're willing to let the magenta slide, they might let that pink go. For the inks tested, the average viscosity was 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. PensBBS number 137 has a viscosity of 1.3, making it wholly wet. It's getting close to water. If you're interested in how the viscosity test and all that's done, there's a link to that video down in the description. Let's get into the next writing sample done on black and red paper. We have no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine is lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen. It does have a bit of shading where brown starts darker, gets lighter, over starts lighter, gets darker. 4 seconds to dry. Medium is about the same tone as the extra fine with no feather spread, halo sheen. It too has shading. Quick goes dark to light to dark. Brown goes dark to light. Over goes light to dark. 6 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both show good color variation. It's better in the medium, and the smear, I don't think you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average dry time was 17 seconds, and the realm of normal was 13 to 21 seconds. PensBBS number 137 has an average dry time of 14 seconds, making it normal. The last writing sample is done on white lines paper. As a paper not made for fountain pens, there's only a couple of spots that do show themselves a little bit coming deeper into the paper. Not the kind of spots that would stop people from using the back of the page, definitely not touching the page underneath. This, pretty good on this paper, really, and it's a more absorbent paper. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine is a bit lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 3 seconds to dry. Great for a note taker. Medium is the same tone as the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 5 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both do show some color variation, although it's absent in the writing. And the smear test, you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. Instead of finding inks that look like PensBBS number 137, I'd prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. I went with a nice purple ink by Atramentis because I thought it went both nice with the with the magenta and with the pink tones that this ink can have. And I chose the Giacomo Puccini Aubergine. Now I know I butchered that name and people will tell me down in the description how. But if you're interested in choosing a different complement color, down in the description you're going to see a link to different playlists that you can choose a different complement color. So what do I think of PensBBS number 137? This is a very interesting tone that I really do enjoy. A very pink-leaning magenta that at times looks more pink or more magenta. This gives the ink a very interesting quality about it. Super nice ink that should be looked at by more people, especially if you're looking for a nice pink. So what nib and pen give the best writing experience with this ink? A wet pen really doesn't let it shade as well and also hides some of that pink. So if you only want the magenta, that's a really good way to go. But a medium to dry flow pen really is going to allow it to have some of its shading and show off some of the pink tones this ink can put out there that makes it so interesting. I hope you got something out of this video, and in the next video we're going to take a look at Pelikan Edelstein's Smoky Quartz.